Tell me about the headphones. I just wanted to say that.
These same people pushing these masks are going to be the same ones telling you to take the vaccine. If you are around someone that had COVID, they're going to tell. If you haven't been vaccinated, they're going to tell. If you even look sick, they're going to tell. The people pushing these masks are going to become your worst nightmare. Part of what this Peter pandemic has done is lower the bar for society. So now a scumbag degenerate can seem like a good person because they wear a mask. Or even better, they can seem like a great person if they run around pointing out who's not wearing a mask.
Eminem has just proved he's a complete idiot and may have in fact just brought a whole new meaning to the term COVIDiot. In his latest attempt to regain some long-lost accolades and attention, the 47-year-old rapper Eminem went on a rant against anti-maskers in his latest single titled The Adventures of Moon Man and Slim Shady, where he says, "Bunch of half-wits up in office, half of us walking around like a zombie apocalypse, other half are just pissed off and don't want to wear a mask and they're just scoffing. And that's how you end up catching the blank off them. I just used the same basket as you shopping, now I'm in a effing casket from you coughing." This guy's head is so far up the establishment's you-know-what that he's become completely enveloped.
All of these politicians are going to hide behind this Peter pandemic. Everything they do, every major thing they do will be linked to COVID-19. And they will literally base their reelection on what they did during this crisis. These people are grabbing low-hanging fruit. Look how fast we got conditioned. Mask, good. No mask, bad. Every politician is banking on adding more restrictions to seem like they care about their people. When in actuality, none of this has anything to do with caring about society. And this religion surrounding this whole Peter pandemic will overtake any issues that black people have. So now we just made it easy for every politician. Now all each politician has to do is just cater to what people think being safe is. And guess what? They will have won the people off of telling people to wear a mask and stay 6 feet apart. Do you see how low the bar is? Do you see how low the fruit is hanging? A city could be in utter chaos, but as long as that politician gets on TV and say, "I'm going to make sure we're safe. I care about the people. We're going to beat this thing. We're going to come together and we're going to win," they automatically win favor with the people. You can't see it, but we are moving towards a communist society. They want cash gone. They want a cashless society. If there's a cashless society, then that means they can literally control everything. This cashless society, these masks, all these things are precursors to a communist society where the government controls everything. And if the government controls everything, you better believe black people are going to be controlled the most. But enough about that. Let's get started. This right here is for all of my people in the back. The virus started in Wuhan, China. In China, millions upon millions upon millions of people wear masks and have been wearing masks. So a virus that started in Wuhan, China, managed to rip through China even where people are wearing masks. And that same virus not only managed to rip through China, but it also managed to travel around the world and end up in America. The virus that started in Wuhan, China, managed to affect black people in America the most. And now it's affecting the people in South America.
So in 2008, we did a study that was published a few years later looking at homemade face masks. We wanted to know whether or not they actually worked at all. The surgical mask performed by far and away the best of all the materials that we tested. And then we looked at sort of more common kind of cotton fabrics, t-shirt fabrics. And they had a sort of variable filtration efficiency between 50 and sort of 70%. The addition of a mask might provide an additional benefit, but it's also going to have probably a marginal effect.
There's increasing numbers of studies showing that it can be detected in the air in small micro droplets. And homemade masks and surgical masks are not going to do anything for you if that is the risk you face.
It's very clear that once we start coming out of lockdown, we start having to go to work again, you will come across situations where you are going to be unable to have social distancing. If you don't have a mask on, then you're pretty naked as far as protection is concerned. But if you have that mask as well, then that's going to give you that added protection.
I think it'll be interesting to see whether or not widespread face mask wearing will have an effect on the reduction of the incidence of the virus. I think that remains to be seen at this stage.
So to kick this one off, Eminem goes after Trump and his followers by stating, "Bunch of half-wits up in office, half of us walking around like a zombie apocalypse." Isn't he so edgy and brave to attack the half-wits in office while calling out the zombies? And I'll give him that. There are a lot of zombies out there. But then he follows that up with, "Other half are just pissed off and don't want to wear a mask and they're just scoffing." So it's the other half that doesn't want to wear masks, which means that the first half that he was referring to as zombies are the mask wearers. Oops.
Many of you all know this, but like I said, this is strictly for the people in the back. If the mask prevents you from spreading the virus, then why doesn't the mask prevent you from catching the virus? It's the same mask. How does a mask stop something from going out, but doesn't stop something from going in? Like I said, this is for my people in the back of the class.
And that's how you end up catching the blank off them. I just used the same basket as you shopping. Now I'm in a effing casket from you coughing. All right, so props to the double entendre there at the end where he used the word coffin to both mean a casket for the dead and the act of coughing when sick. That's the kind of stuff that makes him seem smart. But then there's this. I just used the same basket as you shopping, now I'm in a effing casket from you coughing. Hey dumbass, did you ever think wearing a mask is pointless when everyone is completely free to touch the mushrooms and the strawberries? How the hell does a mask or the basket you're gonna touch matter when other shoppers are free to touch the food that you will soon be touching? The truth is, it's all a bunch of BS nonsense that has more to do with compliance than actual health.
The World Health Organization said that asymptomatic people are not the ones spreading the virus. But guess what? That makes perfect sense to me, because if a person is not sneezing or coughing in your face, then how are they spreading the virus?
This establishment-controlled tool, who is totally owned by the corporate string pullers, is being used to scare you into submitting to the authorities for any reason moving forward. First, it's masks, then it's contact tracing, then it's vaccines, and eventually it'll be an ID chip. And if you don't comply, you're one of the zombies who's a part of the problem. But the truth is, the science is in, and the facts don't care about your fears. If you haven't seen it yet, be sure to watch my recent video titled Confirmed, the absolute science behind masks and the proof that they don't work, with Denny Rancourt.
Clearly, the people with the symptoms are spreading the virus. 80% of the COVID-19 deaths are people that were elderly. That leaves 20%. Who do you think makes up the majority of that 20%? You guessed it, the severely ill.
Several months later,
80% of the people that have died from COVID-19 were the elderly. That leaves 20%. Out of that 20%, Most of them are the severely ill. Everything I'm telling you, you can look up for yourself. But like I keep telling you all, they are banking on you all not reading.
But the hard reality is, this is not even close to being over. Although many countries have made some progress globally, the pandemic is actually speeding up. We're all in this together, and we're all in this for the long haul. We will need even greater stores of resilience, patience, humility, and generosity in the months ahead.
Let me get back to these masks. The masks are about compliance and not prevention. They literally told you not to wear a mask, and they backed it up with science. Now they are asking you to wear a mask out of respect for your neighbor. What's the difference? The difference is they used science first, and now they are using emotion. Like I'm telling you all, this is for the people in the back.
Don't come any closer. I need a 6-foot perimeter here. How could you be so reckless? I always wear a mask in my car because my grandfather fought in World War II, and I'm trying to be just as brave. And now anytime I'm in my car, I also wear a condom because I don't want to get STDs either. And it works on the same medical premise. I think it takes a courageous individual to boldly wear a mask while they're in their car by themselves. It's a pretty rare trait. We're like the Navy SEALs of the roadways. We're pretty elite. That's why you don't see very many of us. But you do see some of us. Wearing my mask while I'm by myself in my car basically says, I might have COVID, and if I do, I don't want to catch it from myself.
You can go to the CDC right now, and they cite 8 studies that support why you should wear a mask. But there's only one problem. None of those studies actually mention the mask. What I'm telling you, you can look up for yourself.
Because when I'm in my car, I'm within 6 feet of myself. So technically, I'm breaking social distancing rules, and I don't feel good about that. I got my degree in being under a trance from the State is Deceiving Me University. If there's one thing I love about airplanes, it's breathing the recycled air. And my commitment to wearing my mask in my car gives me the same recycled air purification while I'm in my car. It's innovative and cleansing. It's like we're basically in flying cars now. When people see me drive by in my mask, I know what they're thinking. Thank you for your service to our country. And you know what, people? You're welcome. They're definitely also thinking, he's an inspiration, that's a powerful virtue signal, and he's probably really well versed on the latest virus knowledge.
You can go to the World Health Organization right now, and they will list the dangers of wearing a mask. They used fear first, now they are using confusion, and then they will come up with the vaccine after the elections. To the people in the back of the class, repeat after me. Fear, confusion, vaccine. Say it one more time. Fear, confusion, vaccine. For my people in the back, repeat after me. Mask equals vaccine equals chip. Say it again. Mask equals vaccine equals chip.
When I get out of my car, I put on a mask over my mask because I don't want my mask to get infected while it's protecting me. Do I take my mask off at home? No, I'm not suicidal. I also walk with crutches just to take weight off my knees to help prevent me from getting a knee injury. I think it actually strengthens my legs and character.
They literally told you that you could go home and make a mask. And the mask that you made without mask making training was going to prevent you from catching a virus. Matter of fact, they told you to go home and make a mask that was going to protect you from a pandemic that came from across the world.
I see mask people. On Halloween, medical face masks. You mean like at the dentist or the hospital, the doctor's office? Walking and driving with no other people. They think it stops the spread of viruses. And they scream at you if you don't wear one. They don't know about Event 201.
How often do you see them?
All the time. They're everywhere.
If they thought we could handle corona by ourselves, then that means they thought the virus wasn't that bad. But clearly that's not the case. They thought the virus was so bad that when the virus first hit, they immediately started working on a vaccine. They don't have a plan B. You have to ask yourself, how are they so confident that a vaccine is going to work? Better yet, do they already have a vaccine? Most of you all never realize that you knowing is your responsibility. So that means knowledge is character-based. It is your job to know what's going on. You must study to show thyself approved.
And speaking of precautions that have worked well, unquestionably, one of the biggest game changers has been face coverings. Whatever it is, from the most homemade to the most elaborate, the face coverings have made a world of difference in fighting back this disease.
And to the back of the class, I know it's easy to just listen to what they have to say. I know it's easy to just put on a mask. I know it'll be easy to just get the shot. I know it'll be easy to just get the chip. I know it's easy to listen to these politicians. I know it's easy to listen to people that look just like you. But you must ask yourself, when has easy ever been good?
Masks aren't bad. Mask mandates are. As many of you know, the city of Shreveport has announced an emergency order making masks mandatory. The Constitution is being shredded before our very eyes.
This isn't about whether you want to wear a mask or you don't want to wear a mask. This is about your right to wear a mask or not. This is about liberty.
A vaccine is inevitable. So if a vaccine is inevitable, then why do we think wearing masks is going to do anything? The vaccine is coming, people. They are spending billions upon billions upon billions of dollars to administer a vaccine to 7 billion people.
Your body is your private property. If the government has the power to force you to wear a mask, they can force you to stick a needle in your arm against your will. They can put a microchip in you. They can even make you take the mark. After all, it's for the greater good.
You see? Government needed a villain. People who don't wear a mask will be soon painted as the enemy.
Even though there's no legal, ethical, or moral way to vaccinate 7 billion people, that doesn't matter. The goal is to vaccinate the entire planet for something that 99.999 to infinity% won't even catch.
So some of you might be saying, hey, that's a whole bunch of crazy Bible God stuff. Well, no matter what you believe, These people, these globalists, believe all this stuff. They've shown so many times. How many times have we seen how satanic they are?
As you know, there are multiple candidates that are in various stages of clinical trial. 1 or 2 of them will go into phase 3 for efficacy literally at the end of this month. So we're pretty cautiously optimistic that at the end of the year, beginning of this coming 2021, we will have 1 and maybe more, I hope more than 1 vaccine that would be available.
To the back of the class, just remember, it's your job to know. And don't be safe, be great. Wait for it. Free blast, get money.